Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and I am not sure whether we're in public or private at the moment. Let's see. Let's see if we can draw on a crowd. It's Mother's Day today. One of the best days if you got a good mum, and probably a sad day if you've blown your chances as a bad mum. It's a good day to make a mum. How are we going from here? Hey, here we go. Okay, g'day, buddy. And we've got good old Camo. Good to have you here. Overflowing Stage 3 pit. It's an important one today. And Dave D, the future officer, the leader of the tiller, the captain of the ship, so to speak. Lauren is shining. Hey, can't stay. I get it. It's Mother's Day. And that's why I thought I'd stick to the meat-eating subject today that is infantry. It starts tomorrow. Who does it start for? It starts for James. I'm not going to say his last name because, like a dentist, he doesn't want to show his face. Guys and gals, you're going to notice something different. Look at this one. Boom. You've made all this possible. What color is it? Black. That's racist. Guys and gals, this is so that you can have the best quality sound, etc. And it also allows me to step back and kind of take it easy a little bit so I can enjoy it as well. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers that are out there, to all of those expectant mothers, and to those that are in a mother's position. You know, it is a very hard role, and often it can be tireless. It can be maybe underestimated most of the time. You do a good job, and we need you, and it's a pleasure to have a good one, and I've got a great one. We've got Michael Hart. Good to see you, Kaz. How you doing, mate? I'm not doing too bad. I've cleaned up the office. I've changed it around a little bit, represent a little back there with a bit of the green and gold, so to speak. Mysterious Box says hello. Kurt Jenkins. I start next week. Is that at Kapooka or is that at the School of Infantry? Kapooka, think of that team as primary school. That is to make you a general service soldier. Singleton is to make you a specific, skilled soldier specialised in infantry before they go into the other branches of the tree, which will be heavy weapons, surveillance, snipers, signals, surveillance recon, direct fire support weapons, mortars, and pioneers. Ethan, going to Kapooka next Monday. Can't wait. You're going to beat... No, you're not going to beat the cold because it's getting to 2 degrees at the moment down in bloody in Canberra, and you're lower than that. Mr. Bryce is here. Where is he? One of our favourite people. Mr. Bryce, there he is. Sorry, guys, my eyes aren't that good to even be able to see the screen from here. Let's move a little bit forward if we can. To all those who are at Kapooka at the moment that might be watching this that aren't able to really make a comment, I get it. To those that are going to the School of Infantry tomorrow, this is there for you so that you can get mentally, physically prepared for what you're about to go into. The ordeal of going into a second institution, which is completely different to that of basic training, boot camp, Kapooka, etc. Simon Powell, good afternoon, all. Good day, Kaz. Hope you had a great Sunday. It is a great Sunday. Naturally, as being in a broken up relationship, I can't be there to actually put a hug on my ex-partner, and there's some situations to do with that medically as well during this this period, so to speak, and it's the reason why I'm not up with my mum and dad at the moment where I should be. I hope everyone's bought some flowers. I bought some great flowers for the family members, and it is a day that I think is bigger than Valentine's Day because I think almost all of you have Valentine's Day wrong. Valentine's Day is not meant to be for the person you're with. It's not meant to be for your wife. They've already been between the sheets. They've got their chance. They've had their chance. They get flowers any other day of the year. Valentine's Day is meant to be about giving some sort of acknowledgement to someone that you have a crush on, the one that got away, so to speak. So you should be able to almost be able to say to another mate's wife, this is for you, a Kit Kat, if you will. A bag of flour that stays in the pantry, the permanent flour that doesn't go off, that lets them know that you are their one that got away, even if the opportunity never really existed. So next February, be ready for that one. Dave D, who's going to be the officer of men. We've got the leader of men. We've got a manager at the moment about to step up to leader. Can't wait to see how that goes. Kapooka's up for those that are about to step into Foxhound, which is Foxhound Romeo 336 there. Whew. Good to have you here, buddy. Overflowing Stage 3 Pit actually is currently wearing the coveted prize, the Skippy Badge, what it's all about. And it is what it's all about. Once you've got the Skippy Badge, that means you have no more excuses for poor performance. You are a self-motivated, preparing individual, soldier, and from there you can go on to warrior as well. Will McLaren, how you going, Bill? What's up, Kaz? How's lockdown treating you? Normal for me, mate. I've got a question. If I've been thinking of joining the Defence Force, I finish year 12 in September. So do you think I should wait or just go for it? Just go for it. If they say yes, just go. You know, let's not forget that it was only 100 years ago and less than that where we had 15 and 16-year-olds. That's a crime, you know, and a lot of them lost their lives. If someone is over 17 years old, you know, I prefer to be 18. The reason being, then your training can't get revoked, so to speak, while you're going through training because your parents can see you're going through a stressful period. So be careful about going in there where your parents may not believe in what you want to do or may want you to stay or follow another career path. Don't rip out the carpet from under you and you can't do anything about that. But, hey, Kaz, my name's Ben from HMS Albatross. How you going? Mutsu Cow. We have a Navy guy here. Just so you know, mate, I will bag you out for being Navy, but in return, I would expect you to use your imagination and do something about us too. Sometimes it's taken out of context, but it doesn't need to be. It is like any franchise from any sport. They are there to tease each other. But at the end of the day, I still need you to get me there. I can't swim the whole way, so thank you for your service, mate. And brother, Benny, brother. Joseph Barker, Hannibal Barker, the hater of Rome. Because I'm going full-time next year instead of continuing with reserves as an infantryman rifleman. Well done, Joseph, and I'll be there to help you on your way. Thank you also for what you have done throughout the Nutsu Cow periods that have allowed me to reach out and get you a better sound solution that gives me some hands-free and allows me to communicate while still using my hands for other things. Keep your mind out of the gutter. Madison, I need to return your message that you sent to me. And yes, I have an answer for you, and I hope you're happy with that. Sean Davey, what did you get, Madison? Where is she? Let me catch my breath. You started the stream just as I finished my beep test. I've been watching you. Look in the bushes behind you. That's where I am. No, I'm not. Okay, just in case there's some weirdos watching thinking that maybe I am. PFA tomorrow, Madison, you'll be fine. Go in there, try your hardest. Don't go for minimums. You got to try and go for 7,000 on the push-ups, 2,000 on the sit-ups. You know, you're going to be able to run to 138 on the beep test. Are you going to fall short of all of those? Yes. You've got to try and achieve that. It's like a man that dives into the ocean, like Bert there. He's still going to try and swim to the bottom despite the fact that he's never going to make it. They'll see it in your confidence and your commitment. We've also got community top 10 there. Hey, mate, marched out on Friday, going to Tuaria. Out of Kapooka or out of School of Infantry. Going to the 2nd Battalion Royal Australian Regiment, the best battalion of the Australian Regiment, the Royal Australian Regiment, which is the best small army in the world, which means that you are potentially going to the best unit on earth. And I have to believe that because that's where I came from. And I want you all to believe that. James, how you going, mate? Sorry I missed you, Kaz. Doing COVID-19 training. Is there training for it? This is all for you today. James, boom, there he is. James, although it's Mother's Day and the emphasis should be on Mother's Day, I couldn't imagine too many people popping up to say, hi, Mum, they've done that already today. So today is about you. We're going to talk about now, so guys and gals that are down there at the moment, just relax for a second because I'm about to talk to James Carr for a moment and his platoon. James, let us know down the bottom, what is the name of your platoon at the moment? That's not giving anything away. And how many people are you actually going on the bus with tomorrow? I'm about to explain to you how James's life is about to change. Now that he's finished Kapooka, he is classed as an Australian soldier. So bow the head for that. Boom. You can now go on any path within the military from here through transfer, etc. You're a qualified Australian soldier. And this is as hard as it gets for a lot of the corps. But you're about to get on a bus tomorrow and you're going to go from here to the School of Infantry, which is arguably the hardest physical course as an initial employment training course that there is within the military. And that is backed up by one of the highest failure rates. And all of that so you can get $1.78 hat badge, which is just there. But you're going to pay for that in calories, in blood, in sweat, in salt. When you get on the bus tomorrow with your team, your new family, there's a few things you need to understand. They're not going to be your team for much longer. What's going to occur is you're going to get to the School of Infantry. You're going to be met at dark by someone who, because daylight savings is over, coldest time of the year, and you're about to experience it, and you're going to move into an administrational area called a holding platoon, which is at the School of Infantry beside Depot Company, which is what you're going to be part of. When you move in there, sorry guys down here in chat, I'll get to you in a minute. And what's going to occur is you're all going to get called out. Now, there might already be 100 people, or there might be 50 people, there might be 60, there might be 20 that are already waiting in holding platoon, and they may be the barnacles off the hull of the people that didn't make it into session of previous platoons, or they could be here that were doing the march out ceremony without their families there the week before you've marched out this Thursday, Friday, just gone. So when you get into there, you're going to go and do the following day a fitness test. And that will determine, do you have the fitness requirements to do the basic commencement of a platoon, which will be named after a battle honour, i.e. Long Tan Platoon, Kap Yong Platoon, Mary Ann Sang, etc. And what will occur from there is you will go and do that fitness test. You'll either be given a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If every single person passes well, which they normally don't, then what will happen is you may all get into the next session, or you may have people that aren't. But one thing I can assure you is as of tomorrow, you'll be part of other platoons that have marched out previous to you, or you may be in that platoon, holding platoon for a prolonged period until they get enough people to start a session. That's going to be an amalgamation of different platoons that have left Kapooka, that are there together, that will also have potentially people there from the DRS system or the direct entry special forces, right? So you need to do as well as you can within that fitness test, 100%, to make sure that you don't end up after that fitness test going straight to the ROP so they can determine whether you lack of fitness, or was it psychological, or was it medical? Because that's what I'll do. Either you're ready or you're one of the other three. Which one is it? But there's a good chance that you won't go into session if you are not ready, right? Because there is a OH&S requirement that you are able to meet the fitness requirements that are well beyond Kapooka, that are there ready to get you in the 12 to 13 weeks of training that you're going to do at the School of Infantry, the home of the infantry soldier, to prepare you to go to a battalion, which could be going on operations, won't be, only weeks, months after you get to the battalion. So this is the real deal. You can be there for an endless amount of time if it turns out that you're not ready. Believe me, there is people that pass Kapooka like that, hug their family, cry, buy all the photos, have the beer, tell everyone I've made it, and then fail in the first week at the School of Infantry. It's a very serious role, so you need to take it seriously. That doesn't mean you need to be scared. Have anxiety about it? Sure. You're going to get through it together. But one of the other things you've got to be prepared for, other than just being in a new team, so to speak, is the fact that you're not going to be getting yelled at like you expect at Kapooka. You might get spoken to like a normal human being. Just go over there, team. Okay, if we're going to go over to that building, go over there in groups of 2 or 3, but still march, but your hand's not up here. Okay, your hand is just down there, clench fist, like you'd be getting around in the battalion, but don't talk on the march, so to speak. Then you'll go in and get your new lines. It's almost like probably going to prison. Once you go into session, because they're not allowed to train you in anything that's not general service soldiering, until you actually get to a session. From there, you'll pick up a section commander, not an instructor. And there'll be probably an administrational corporal there as well. And then you'll have a platoon commander and a platoon sergeant that will lead that. You'll be in your own platoon environment that'll have its own battle honour. And then from there, it'll be all about navigating the hurdles that come with each of the 13 weeks. There's unarmed combat. There is the defence. There is the attacks. There is the lead up to live fires. There is close country, maybe. There is going to be open country patrolling. There is going to be the obstacle course. Everything that is in there, you will have maybe touched in a minute role at Kapooka. It's just going to ramp up. The expectations are going to be up there, but not necessarily mentioned. It's just that you'll have more responsibility for your actions and your results. But this is where the kicker comes in, where the danger, where we give you enough rope to hang yourself if you're not mature, or you are governed by peer pressure, so to speak. And that is each weekend, you can earn that and have it off, but you can't hang around Singleton. You either hang around the lines or you get in a vehicle with a group of new comrades. Hey, Robbie Kent, how you going, mate? And you head down to the school, to Newcastle, which is probably off limits at the moment. Maybe, maybe not. Where you go down, stay at a hotel with your buddies, walk along the beach, drinking coffee, have a few sherbets, meet a girl, don't put a ring on her finger unless it's calamari or a burger ring. Tell her that I will never die to get what you need, to get what you want, to get you through training. Okay. And then you come back and you start it again. You got to be back by 10 o'clock on Sunday night. You've got to pay for your way to Singleton, to Newcastle, etc. But you share that amongst your buddies. Totally recommend that you go to Newcastle if you get given the opportunity due to the dilemma, and go down there and get that piece out, get that time away. Matty Dowsett, g'day, cousin team. First one off the block. Thank you very much. It's people like you, MD, Matty Dowsett, that made this possible. I love it. I got it today. It was fantastic. It's had too much Viagra, but look at it. It'll just start rising by itself. Dave D, at the moment, PFAs are either one or two people per PDI. Should start open up again soon. That's crazy, isn't it? A bit overkill, I reckon. G'day, cousin team. Head off to Kapooka in 7 days. Great Dane Smith. What's going to be your last meal, mate? What's going to be your last meal? Interesting. Really enjoy this. It's sad that you got Mother's Day, and here she is about to release her son, Dane Smith, with so many others along here, to go and become an Australian soldier. Fantastic, but a lot of mums don't understand it until they see you march out, and then the tears come, and then they're the proudest mum on earth. They just don't want their kids to leave the coop, so to speak, jump out of the nest. Jared Kiss has got to go. Hope you have a good one. We will have a good one. Already having a good one. Guys and gals, this is one of the things that you will get told about. You're not able to go to the gym at the School of Infantry in outside sessions that have been provided by the PDIs, because you will have very hard sessions, but where it seems like it's not so hard, where it's about muscular endurance, sure, where it's about maybe a pack march instead, when it may be, you name it. It might be deliberately a rest session that has basically been put in there because there's something hard that's coming. So the last thing you want is delayed onset muscle soreness from repetitive training, from muscular endurance, where we're starting to rip at the muscles to make them bigger as either muscular endurance, hypertrophy, or actual strength itself. You'd be working across those between the trunk, the lower limbs, lower body, and the upper body. But what you can do, 2 seconds, Simon Powell, government gave me more money. I'm just sharing the love with the good guys. Simon, our resident Raffy, great to have you there. Thank you very much. It won't be long before we can paint this white. Overflowing Stage 3 pit, 2AR, cough, cough, the worst, cough, cough. Bullshit. That is not true. And one of my 2AR brothers is trying to ring me now, but he's going to get negative communication from me at the moment until we get off here. Harry Murphy, Kaz, heaps of the boys going infantry are going to struggle with a BFA. Yep. Okay. And that's why I say to people, before you get to Kapooka, You need to be able to hit those targets that I explain, at least 60 push-ups, 100 sit-ups. You're running whatever you can achieve it, hopefully under 10 minutes, and the swimming in 200 meters without stopping, so to speak. If you can do all that, as well as between 5 and 10 chin-ups, you'll be okay. Ryan, hey, Kaz, hey, mate, how you going? One of the things you get to do, bud, when you get to the School of Infantry, and it's fantastic, is they have their own 20 or 25 metre indoor heated, so to speak, swimming pool. What you can do in the afternoon before you go up and get a lemon squash, before you go up and get a coffee, because you're allowed to do that, stroll around the base like a kangaroo that can't find its way through the gaps in the fence because you can't either, without your ID card, of course. Then what occurs is you can go up and you can go for a swim, and you can go in that pool. And I recommend that you have section meetings at the pool rather than the lines, because in the lines, that can happen very quickly if someone is not playing the game, not getting up and doing the SALs, someone who is not representing and assisting the team, so to speak. So if you go up to the pool, you're in a beautiful, it's a beautiful pool, beautiful atmosphere, which is completely neutral, which allows you to do a few laps, allows you to loosen up from the hard session that you've just come from or the one you're going into, or allows you to work on the things that you're poor at. You can still do some push-ups on the side of the pool. You can still do some laps to develop the back to get that balance, so to speak. But it's a great way for the team to go up there and have a talk about shit to clear the air, so to speak, to lay down the ground rules. And one of the things I definitely recommend you do when you sit down as a team is it doesn't matter if you did Kapooka in the team before, the one that's marching out yesterday, the day before, with young James, but you need to be able to say we're all in one team. It's important we get along. Today, it might be me who's stuffing up, but it better not be due to fitness. Tomorrow, it might be you. There's some things that are going to occur at the School of Infantry that make it extremely hard for some as opposed to others. One of those is being female. I believe you've been lied to. I don't believe it's a place for the ladies. And I say this to protect you. I've got a daughter. I care. I've been an instructor there. I said, we're not instructors there. An instructor, so to speak, there three different times. And I've also been there as an enemy commander one time. And I can tell you one thing. My experience that I've seen with females who've gone to infantry hasn't been a pleasant one. Okay, not for me, but for the young lasses that go there. They've been lied to by some sort of equity and diversity, some sort of agenda, of people that won't be there for these lasses when they can't do it, when they don't have the grip strength, when I shouldn't have to carry the Mag 58. Do you want me to fail? No, we've all got to be able to do exactly the same thing. It's a tough one. And it's tough for me to see a double standard when it comes to people either passing or failing based on their gender, especially when it's training to go to the A game, training to go to fight the title. If you go there and it's only are you a paper champ, you can't afford to be that, because if you are, you'll get found out real quick. And the hardest thing that you'll face, other than actual kinetic energy, is the elements. Your life is hard enough, but the world is against you and nature hates you. That's why I laugh at greenies, because nature doesn't like you in return. It'll try to drown you. It'll try to overheat you. It'll try to make you freeze to death. It ain't your buddy. And even a grasshopper, can fall a million times as height with no dramas. Us, 1 times higher, that can be all over. That can be your Point Break, Johnny Utah blows his knee out, career gone. Thoughts on 6RR? It's a fantastic battalion, but I don't like the fact that it's based in Brisbane. I don't like the fact there's more civilians on that base than what there is soldiers. The fact that it's completely surrounded by civilians. The fact that they've got to travel so far to get to their training environment. The fact that I just don't think Brisbane is a good place to go unless you have a sick mum or dad, unless you get in and you've already got 3 kids, or unless you're absolutely addicted to the beach. And that's one of the things that everyone says with the 1st Battalion, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Battalion. The hardest thing about being in Townsville, which is the best place to get sent to, because they have the best training areas, they have the most money spent there, is the fact that there is no beach, there's no waves, and that sucks. But it is the best place if you're going to be a soldier. You're not going to join the army to be a surfer. You're going to become a soldier. So the best place to become a soldier is the 1st Battalion, 2nd Battalion, or 3rd Battalion. Not so much 3rd Battalion. Not because of the mocker of being in the 3rd Battalion or losing their para roll, but more the fact that they're at the back of the brigade, which is in the hottest area with the least amount of airflow, which means your day-to-day sucks in that tropical heat. That's what I mean. Original flavour. When you say that, I think Tubes, the delicious bite-sized saucy snack. Madison's back. Bick, as they would say in New Zealand. Sam Code. Anybody know if there's any waiting for the infantry role currently? Yes, there is. It's a very, very big line too, mate. Going to be in re-enlisting later this month after getting rejected last year. Mate, the line hasn't got any smaller. It hasn't. Okay, we've got fighting with the turret with Swar there, which is one of my buddies, Scotty. Dean, what happens in the 25-metre pool if the phantom shitter hits? Do Grunt still swim? Funny, we've never had that. We've had the phantom shitter. That was a guy that used to shit in the golf course at the brigade, up in 3 Brigade, but we've never had anyone shit in the pool, so to speak. Interesting. There's always time for one. If that happened, holy shit, I reckon the response would be if someone shit in the pool and it was the mystery turd, the rock that couldn't sink the Titanic, so to speak, I think it'd be everyone. Everyone at the School of Infantry, your weekend is done until we find out who it was. And that would be a very dangerous position to be in as a trainee. Tripper Snipper, what are your thoughts on ADFA? I fucking hate ADFA. There is no reason for it to be there. And even the ex-commandant of ADFA said the same. RMC, the corporate branch of being a leader, thumbs up, happy to have him. But there is no reason for someone, until they tell me otherwise, to go and get a university degree, normally an arts degree, that they don't continue for the rest of their career, why you should get that money spent on you from civilians, from the taxpayers of Australia, so you can go there and fuck up. I don't believe in it at all. I don't think there's any advantage whatsoever. It's taking very immature children and giving them more than enough opportunity to ruin their career by having limited supervision, but the ingestion of alcohol and an environment which is not made there for success, I believe. Is that Little Pepper? 176. Hey, Kaz, I'm 15. I'm interested in joining the army in a couple of years. How old do you recommend for me to go? Preferably, the best age is 19, but 18 is fine. And that's because you're in there, your body's developed, the scaffolding has prepared you to lessen the chances of injuries. You understand kind of what you want. It's the sort of age that you go into a trade, and then by then you come out 22 years old. Do I continue this? Do I become a tradesman of my own right? Do I start my own business? Or it didn't work out? It'll give you that opportunity. Jaden Hall, not too cow. Thank you very much, mate. It won't be long before I've got 2 microphones if this goes this way. And I want to let you know, this is a first, a very first for this channel. Something happened today. Something happened today. You probably get sick of the army of one, which is Kaz, who's backed up very well by his moderators in blue that you'll see not here in chat at the moment. Okay. But today I've reached out and I've asked a gentleman, Irish of nature, to come and be my number 2 on this channel. His daughter wants to be a YouTuber. She's too young. He's helped me out in the past. You know him as the hitman, Aaron Dixon. So from now on, In the Trenches with Kaz is now brought to you by Kaz, who's still in the trenches, but also the hitman, Aaron Dixon, who can be the number 2 that sits beside me on days other than Mother's Day. So you have 2 people communicating between this black phallic symbol to give you the answers you need, where you can direct a question. I'd rather ask Aaron this. Bang. I'd rather Kaz answer this one. Bang. And we go from there. So to Aaron Dixon, if you're watching right now, instead of watching the pirate illegal version of UFC 249, okay, Justin Gaethje against Tony Ferguson. My tips are Tony Ferguson in the 2nd round, knockout over Justin Gaethje. Let's see how it goes. Well, yeah, that's my tip. So look forward to seeing Aaron sitting beside me. I might even get him a second chair. Mother's Day. Yeah, it is Mother's Day. I like to make mothers. I've only made one mother, but a lot of them have just dodged a bullet from me. Today was a good day for me to also reach out to some of the mums that I really respect, including my own. Jupus, hey, Kaz, I'm 18 and training to apply for the commandos next year. Any tips on what kind of training I should be doing? You don't train for commandos, mate. You train for infantry. I see you down there, Sri. It was a really good conversation we had yesterday. No problems. And I hope that that's been able to sit within your psyche well and be able to give you the fertilization and be able to move on with your thought processes to continue on the path that I think you're already a good one. I'll get to you in a sec, Sad Cobra. What was the question I was working on? Where was I? I'm not sure where I was on. I got sidetracked. Sad Cobra. Hey, mate, got my enlistment date for the 1st of June as an artillery operator. Keen as shit. Sad, is there a reason why you chose artillery? If there's a reason, awesome. I hope you put down 3 choices. That's right. We're talking about commando training. You have to complete Kapooka successfully without a back squad to get to the Royal Australian Regiment by completing the School of Infantry without back squad, without injury. And that's even before you start to train to become a commando. So the last thing I want you to do is start putting on weight, going for long distance, toughening marches to get yourself ready, but at the detriment of your lower back or your patella, your knees, okay, the ligaments within those, your shins, etc., or lower back. So, mate, keep it about muscular endurance. Go to a boot camp when they open. If not, again, just do. I'm looking at putting out a few fitness videos. They're going to come out in the next 2 weeks, we'll call it. That gives you an opportunity to do things from home that are fun, will make you laugh. Your family can join in with. You can compete with others in. You can compete in comments. And then from there, that will give you a passive, not passive, really, it's going to be bloody hard, that will prepare you towards what you need. Now, I took more than 3,000 fitness lessons during my career. So when I tell you that sometimes less is more, we need to train smart, then I believe in that. I was a push-up maniac, not meaning that I could do more than anyone I knew, but I used to just do push-ups all the time. And now my wrists just ache relentlessly. They do. So everything is like the trucks on a skateboard. They wear down. So train smart to intensity, maintain those scores. Remember, it's always you versus you. You don't need to run 5 days a week. Olympians don't run 5 days a week. We train smart. Jip say, Kaz, I'm 18 and trained to apply for commandos next year. Any tips on what kind of training I should do? Okay. Swimming is one of the best. Running is another great one, again, to intensity. Push-ups, dips, chin-ups, swimming, boxing, burpees to intensity, interval training, all those sort of things, all good for you. Kaz, what platoon were you in at School of Infantry? I was in Kapooka platoon there, Ronnie File. Madison, I'll tell you tomorrow after my PFA. Are you getting nervous? I bet you are. Jay Massa, okay, how long does it take to get to Kapooka after enlisting? After you enlist, depends on where you come from, only a few hours. Once you enlist and you get swear in, oath of affirmation, hand up, you're going straight from there with hardly enough time, okay, to get someone pregnant in a bloody box room, straight onto a bus, and then straight to Kapooka, and then your career starts. And the distance between Kapooka and School of Infantry is just the weekend to do administration. There's no days off. There's no week away. You go straight from Kapooka back onto another bus, potentially onto a plane, and then off you go, back to where you're going next. Brock. G'day, Kaz. I'm planning on going to ADFA, then Duntroon after I finish high school to become an officer. Got any advice? Look, you can go to ADFA, but I'm not a fan of it. I've seen a lot of people go there and it becomes Lord of the Flies. And that you don't get on well with those that go to RMC after that. There tends to be a real immature base that goes to ADVA. They get you too early. I don't believe the taxpayers of Australia paying for you to get a university degree that is not reciprocated throughout your training after you leave ADVA or go over across the road to RMC and then to continue training. We get nothing back for what we spend, so I think they should get rid of it. It's damaged the careers of more officers than what it's set up. Jay Mazza. Thoughts on 5RAR? Look, I'm not a fan on going to 5 or 7. Reason being is where they are. Darwin, you go to Troppo. If you're born with your father's looks, righto, and you go to Darwin, there's a very limited amount of ladies for you to choose from, and it's going to be like chickens after a bloody baby mouse in the coop. Same deal. You go down to Adelaide, it's a land of single mums, and everyone's going to swipe right to the soldier. He's got a job. Swipe right. If your family was there, that's fine. But I'm just saying that it's too hot in Darwin. It's too cold in Adelaide. Townsville seems perfect. I'm biased. How do you get to choose your you don't get to choose your RAR. You get to choose your battalion. Sort of. Okay, so the question was, how do you get to choose your battalion within the Royal Australian Regiment? Understanding there's 1st Battalion, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Battalion. There is the 5th Battalion, there is the 6th Battalion, there is the 7th Battalion, and there is the 8th, 9th Battalion. Outside that, you have the 2 Commando Regiment. And then you have SASR, Special Air Service Regiment. They're separate from the Royal Australian Regiment. The best way to be able to go to the battalion that you want to go, whether that be for logistical reasons, to be able to go there for the postcode that you want to live your life in, or whether it be because you want to have the best opportunity to go to Special Forces, or whether it be because you want to be in a smaller city, which gives you the opportunity to live your life in a better way, whatever you choose. But to get the battalion you want, you have to perform, you have to earn it at the School of Infantry. So if there's a team of 50, because some of you will get back squatted, probably more than 10%, then out of 50, which is 5. So no, you're probably looking at about 20% failure rate at School of Infantry. And that's people that have already passed, hugged and cried in front of their parents in Kapooka. So about 20% of those will fail. And I'll base that off a platoon of 50. And then what will occur is you will be competing. There might be 15 positions that are going to 1 RAR. There might be 10 that are going to 3. There might be 2 that are going to 2. There might be 7 that are going to 6. There might be 5 that are going to 7. There might be 12 or 22 that are going to 7. So depending on where you come within your team of 50 will determine where you go. And it's absolutely no dramas whatsoever for us to say that guy wants to go to 2 RAR, you're going to Adelaide. And that's a little bit of the revenge that we can get on someone too. If they don't perform, you can always send them to where they don't want to go, where they weren't a team member, whether they weren't prepared, whether they're a bad team member. But at the same time, what we don't want to do is end up with a battalion environment where you end up with a mafia of section commanders at the School of Infantry that are all absolutely for Darwin, Brisbane, and Townsville that start using Adelaide as a dumping ground. So that ends up becoming a battalion that goes downhill because they always get the concentrate, so to speak. So we don't allow that to happen, or we try not to allow that to happen because that's not good. And all battalions have stellar soldiers. 2 Commando and SSR always but come and take the strawberry creams, the piece of popcorn with the most butter out of that heap. Alex Ellery, g'day, mate. How you going? Gav, can I still join the army if I have asthma? No. But there's no such thing as easily controlling asthma. Asthma is still, if it's childhood asthma that you haven't had an asthma attack in fucking 20 years, they might say no dramas, but you have no position. There is nowhere for you in armor. There is nowhere for you in special forces. There is nowhere for you in the regiment, so to speak. We cannot afford to, nor should we consider an ailment that could end up with you dying in our arms unable to help you because you have something that we can avoid by simply saying that ailment can't come. And that's not your fault. Another one is normally epilepsy. Another one is mental health. Another one is lower back complaints. If those things are present before you have actually come to the army, it's better to dodge the bullet for the Titanic, to dodge the iceberg, so to speak, and just sail around it. Or icebreaker, if you will. Kane, see what you haunt the Bucko streams as well. He does. Dane, how different are infantry officers for regular infantry? Is it still worth it? I don't understand. Is it still worth it? What are you talking about? Is it being an infantry officer? One thing I expect you to have is, one, is leadership, and two, is moral courage. Understanding that you can be in there and be beneath someone that is a piece of shit, but you still, we've got to be able to stand up at times and say, that's wrong, and stand on your own 2 feet. And we see that too rarely. Our best officers, all they need is an opportunity, and they can show you how good they are. But often those opportunities don't arise, especially in peacetime. Yep. Friends of Tech. Hey, Kaz, how you going, team? Good to have you here, mate, and happy Mother's Day to your mum. Callum. Hey, thanks very much. Mysterious Box. Already put my hand up for SES. Yeah. Homosexuals allowed to enlist in Australia? Allowed to enlist in Australia? They can join Australia, yeah, and they can join the Australian Army. You know what? I don't give a shit what someone's sexuality is, as long as they're not trying to kiss me, right? I don't care. But I do prefer them to be a little bit honest about it, so I can at least tell the girls, no, he's gay. Stop going after him. You could have this one right now. Anastasia, Kaz, can I join the army with flat feet? Normally not. But if you're going to go for a support role, then sometimes yes. That's a discussion you'll have to have with the medical people at the assessment stage. But it's not an automatic no. Ask them, tell them, they'll see themselves. Because most people end up with flat feet that have been in the military, but there's a big difference between ending up with flat feet, collapsed arches, so to speak, and someone that comes in with it, which makes them more likely to get lower back injuries, etc. Can you join the army with autism? I would imagine no. Yes, can fat people join the army? They astound me. They can with what's happening at Kapooka, yeah. But do they get found out? It depends where they go. If they go to School of Infantry, it's going to be a very, very hard life. If they go to other corps, then yeah, there's a lot of fat people in the army, some of those due to medical. Some people have really shit metabolism. But there is a fitness requirement. If you fail a fitness test, okay, then you do a retest for that fitness test. This is all within the ARN, your individual readiness program. And if you fail a certain amount of BFAs, then you'll be given an administration warning and kicked out of the military. Kicked out. And that's fair enough. It's not a place for fat people, but it happens. Right? In America, they actually take photos of you, and as part of your, what do you call it? It's part of your reporting. If they see you starting to put on weight, if you come to the army and you get fat, I don't care about your feelings. I'm going to tell you you're getting fat, or you'll be getting teased about being fat. It's not fat shaming. They just want you to change because sometimes, or a lot of the time, it's someone's laziness is letting the team down. Sometimes it's alcohol too. Alcohol and whole pizzas instead of a couple of slices. I've been lucky. I've got a natural metabolism. Right? I really feel for those that have got shit gut bio. That means that they put on weight, right, no matter what they do, as opposed to me who can live on a Coke and Kit Kat. Can I join the army with autism? You keep asking the same question. No, the answer is probably no, mate. But again, it depends with your high functioning. It will be answered at the assessment session, but I'd imagine the answer would be no, mate. The army is not a charity team. It owes us nothing. It needs the best people for the team to ask that same team to come up with an answer for sometimes an impossible problem on the hardest day. where even if we lose soldiers, it's still classed as a success. This is not Call of Duty. It's the real deal. You don't know in the next 10 years whether we have our own Black Hawk Down incident, whether we have our own Long Tan, whether we have our own Gallipoli retrograde operation, get the fuck out of Dodge, whether we have something that is like Tobruk, stay here. How long? Just stay here. Fight and die. Don't give up. Your job is pivotal in this. That situation could still again happen. Never think it can't. Remember, the role of the infantry is to seek out and close the enemy, to kill or capture him, to seize and hold ground, repel attack by day or night, regardless of season, weather, or terrain. That is the role. If you can read into that and see words like compassion, mateship, and that shit is left out of the mission. All right? So be careful what you sign the paper, the check for, the blank check for, everything up to including your life. It's hard enough being a soldier, but you should always understand that you're the volunteer. You're going to an organisation that is there when politicians fail or someone screams for help in the night, and then we go out and we lock horns with a wolf. Sometimes the wolf is bigger. There's a fantastic, I'm not going to go into it too much today. Hello, lovely. It's Joshua Stevens. I thought it was Jody Stevens from the USA. There is a fantastic question I got via text from Bill. That's all I'm going to say his name is Bill. And I'm going to make a video on that in the next day or so. And that's in regards, I'm not even going to tell you, but what's going to happen from now on in comments below to all videos, not comments over here. Press like if you can now so YouTube knows we're doing all right on Mother's Day. I would love to have a chain of videos where when I see a really good question, instead of me going on a rant here, going on a tear, telling you what I think, well, not necessarily getting to your fantastic comments here, where there can be some shorter stream videos, shorter themed videos, production, not production quality, where I'm just here, I answer that question and bang, there it is. A one-stop shop to the answer to that so you can start to frame your career progression, what you need to do in your life, etc., what you want from Army. And that should be coming out in the next 2 days. And I look forward to that. And so you are that important to me that we'll say, for example, Tama Tetai. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, mate. G'day, Kaz. And my uncle, says g'day. G'day, mate. How you going? Good to have you here. And how topical, because what I was about to explain was someone like yourself. I have no dramas whatsoever. If you ask a question that is worth having a standalone video response to, I'll make a whole video based off your 13-second question you've asked. It's important that we can concentrate those questions like Joe Rogan does and just have snapshot answers that you can go and get direct answers for, and you are worth it. Kane, hey, Kaz, I can't wait to complete my aptitude test. You're the only person that's ever said that. The aptitude test scare the shit out of me. They do. Fighting the turret with SWAT is an armoured core individual. He is the Red Force tracker. Me and him used to sit across from each other. My job was to ask the questions of what I think the dilemmas are going to be for Blue Force and our movement. He was the guy that was in charge of opposition on the other side of the table in a brigade setting at Shoalwater Bay. Great guy, great family, happy Mother's Day, and a really good bloke from Armoured Corps. And yes, Armoured Corps and infantry sitting across the table from each other, sometimes it got fiery. Alex, Max Turnbull, my mate, has ADHD, and he got knocked back. He had to show that he can function without medication for 4 years. And it would have been the medication. That was what would have got him the don't go. Any medication that you need to keep you in a frame of mind means you automatically should not be allowed in the military. We cannot have special cases. We don't need you, okay, that much, that we need to make special allowances for you, for your medical situation, okay, that takes away from us having the most simple team that we can have. because operations is complex enough. We don't need added medical complications that will happen by themselves either way. Jaden Hall, sorry. The psych was a stressor though, but I thought she was tougher than usual. She might have her own dramas, mate. Sad sober Cobra. There's no such thing as knowing too much, in my opinion. I went through knowing heaps about my job roles, and they came back and suggested an officer role for me, but fuck that. It's one thing knowing something, but there's another thing having leadership. They might have saw something in you that was a real leadership. They might have seen a personality in you that they believed that peers would have looked at you and went, that's the guy in the absence of rank that I would follow. And if you see that in someone, the sort of person that would be the captain of a sporting team, etc., that's enough. If people follow you voluntarily, that's leadership, which can sometimes be mistaken for other people with management. People with a lot of ambition are often managers, not leaders, and they get it mixed up. And managers tend to be assholes. Leaders tend to be follow me, do as I do, and they just do it at such a good level. And with compassion when it's needed. Open ears, closed mouth at times too. Something Kaz has trouble with. Ryan Matthews, any advice for an Australian citizen joining the Australian Army while in New Zealand? Can I apply while overseas? Absolutely, you can, Ryan. Yep, you can. Yeah, you can. James had to go to the mess. He's back. James, did you know at the School of Infantry, I don't know if it's the case now, you're automatically also on double rations, because unlike Kapooka, there's no 15 minutes to eat. There's an hour. They might give you half an hour at lunch. You don't normally have breakfast before you do PT either. You don't want to do that. That's a sucker move on yourself. But dinner can go for lunch. Don't eat ice cream. That's a sign of the sailor. But you used to get double rations. You can go in there and you can go back and keep refilling your plate, because you train so hard at the School of Infantry, especially when you've got cold and adversity in there as well. The calories, you need them. Yeah. Elliot, hey, Kaz, I'm going to Kapooka at the start of next month for training. Fantastic. Straight above you, Elliot, is James Carr, who's marching out of Kapooka tomorrow. But James will be more nervous than you because he's getting on the bus to go to the School of Infantry, the place of no excuses, where results matter, the place where no one hears you scream, the places where brothers and marry sisters. Patrick John. Hey, Kaz, anyone else? How are we? What have I missed? Not too cow for starters, Patrick John. Thanks for having me here on Mother's Day. And it's donations like that that have allowed us to go out and get the new Yeti 2 for your audio wellness, so to speak. So thank you very much, mate. Today we're talking about James. James is going to the School of Infantry tomorrow to commence his 13-week training with a brand new team. Whether he goes into holding platoon or whether he goes into a session in the same the week after he gets there, we'll see. But the battalion's waiting for him, and so is winter, and winter sucks. It looks like a Singapore smoking room at the airport in the morning. The fog is down low, and you'll be walking through it. It'd be fantastic for photography, but you're going to be freezing bloody cold, and no one cares because, again, our motto is, our role, seek out and close the enemy, kill or catch him, season, hold ground, repel, attack by day and night, regardless of season, winter, weather, rain, or terrain, hills, swamp, etc. So you're going to test yourself in so many different ways starting tomorrow. James, thank God for double rations. We're all fading away here at Kapooka, even without PT for 2 months. That disgusts me, that no PT. That's because of civilian contractors, I believe, is the reason why you didn't get to do that. I've lost 13 kilos, look like a stick now. Nothing wrong with that. Muscular endurance, boom. Less body weight to move. We've got Ryan Matthews there. I just wanted to donate. Nutsu Cow with Ryan Matthews, and I love New Zealand. It's one of my favourite countries. It's tattooed all down my back. And you're our brothers. I don't like Christina Dern. I don't like her. And I don't like what she's doing for your country. And I don't like your training areas because although they're beautiful for a camera, they are absolutely torture for New Zealand soldiers. I've done 3 exchanges to New Zealand, and each one of them was agonising, whether it be the windswept Tekapo or whether it be the West Coast with the wasps that hide inside the bloody hollow branches, okay, or whether it be the fog that sets in like acid, on the body when you wear a T-shirt, when you're fitter to go out and meet the girls who can't speak properly and talk like fish and chips. I love Kiwi women. They are a vice of mine. I absolutely love them. But if they're worth looking at, if they're worth whistling at, then chances are there's another 100 guys who wish they were with them. And if you're a little skinny white guy, it's not a good idea to chase a girl that it has a line of guys that are all New Zealanders behind them. The land of the warrior. Christian, how you going, mate? How you going through assessment session in a week? Assessment session is easy, but it's difficult because they're looking for medical things wrong with you. They're also looking to see if you're a psycho. Okay, there is things about you you may not even know exist they'll be looking for. So go in there with an open mind, right? It's not a confession session. Don't go in there and go, oh, by the way, I did smoke pot when I was 17. Don't do that. Otherwise, you won't get a job, a career. All right? Let us know how you go. Team, if you need a one-on-one mentoring experience, even if it only goes for a couple of months, get onto my Patreon. The reason why we made it is not just so we can buy things for other people, which we do, and I can't wait till this is all over so I can go and buy something beautiful for someone who least expects it, whether they be homeless people, buy them equipment for being out in the elements, whether it be a TV for some old people so they can watch Netflix, whether it be Apple Watches for people that work at animal shelters. I don't care. The only stipulation is I don't know them. That's it. So if you want to get on Patreon, I haven't put the link down below. I think it's on our front page. Get on there. It's $5 a month. And then from there, you can have a one-on-one conversation with me so we can tailor our communications like we did every day, basically, for the people who are in Patreon now, part of the Roman Legion, the 10th Legion. Mucho respecto. And then we can have a communication that tailors a conversation just for you. So do that. That's the best way to get in contact with Kaz. And it allows us to also step up with things like this, although I don't spend that money on equipment. Not yet. I will ask his permission for that. Tama, assessment session, video, Kaz, was perfection. Thanks, mate. As long as it helps you, mate. As long as it helps you. This is the mentoring session to get you into a position where we can create the scaffolding that you can put little leaves on that become questions that you can ask when you go for your assessment session, the U session, the PFA. I'll let you know the standards, but I'll also let you know what we really want from you after you have done Kapooka, after you've done Singleton. What do I expect as a section commander when you turn up at the School of Infantry? What do I expect you to look like, to act like when you turn up to the battalion, whether it be 7RR, 5RR, 6RR, 8, 9, or whether it be 1, 2, or 3RR. I'm there to give you those questions because you can't find it anywhere else. If it was in the USA, there's plenty, but we're not allowed to have a YouTube channel while we're in the military. I reckon we should. We should have a sanctioned YouTube channel that is made up of injured soldiers where we have officers, NCOs, soldiers, commanders, and we re-roll them into multimedia, and we have an ongoing team where those guys travel around and interview people, have a podcast, do all of those things to get you through. Wait 2 seconds. Hello, darling.
Hello.
Hello. You looking after Mum?
Yeah.
Can I ring you back in 10 minutes?
Why?
Because I'm online at the moment.
Okay. Bye.
Can you say Happy Mother's Day? Oh, bye. Kids, that's a question itself. If you've got kids already, being a military person, having children, you could make a video in that itself. I've been a kid of a soldier, and I've been in the army while I've got a kid. A lot of questions. You advised me not to join artillery, the other stream, but after looking into the observer role, which is completely different, I found it more interesting than infantry. I think it's more important to like what you do. Patrick, you're right and you're wrong. You think it's more interesting than infantry? Okay, awesome. But this is the spin. 2 seconds. Patrick John, what are deployments like in the Australian Army? Aren't I talking to you at the moment? And Matty Dowsett, you guys are going too crazy here. Not too cow. I'll get onto that observer question in 2 seconds. What are deployments like in the Australian Army? I'll tell you in a sec. And Matty Dowsett, Patreon guy here right now, have my enlistment date for the 8th of June. Have to go for now, team. See you next stream. Matty, let's have a phone call soon, mate. All right, let's do that. And happy Mother's Day to you and whoever you're about to make a mother. Paddy John, what are deployments like? Let's go one step back. And where are we? What was it? Where was that question? Patrick John, same guy. So Paddy John was asking, you advised me to join artillery, the other stream, but after looking into the observer role more, I found it more interesting than infantry. I think it's more important to like what you do. For starters, you love infantry. And second, it's one thing to be in artillery. It's another thing to be an artillery observer. But as an artillery observer, you are not going to be allowed, depending on what brigade you're in, okay, to be able to just go and hang out with those infantry guys, to go and hang out with those armoured guys. We're a close-knit group. If you don't need to be in our group, if there's not a reason you're embedded here, we don't want you there. We don't want people chilling out with us that haven't been through the School of Infantry, that don't have that hat badge on their hat until we need you or until we're told you're embedded with us, and then you're one of us. So it doesn't matter if you don't want to be in artillery and you don't want to be infantry. If you go artillery operator, observer, you're going to artillery, you're hanging out with artillery, but you don't truly belong there because your job where you belong is actually with armor, is with infantry, etc. So you get caught in the mid-water, so to speak, and the people I know in observer, their role is fantastic. It's awesome. But you should be administered by the tactical on-the-ground unit so that you learn how to move with those. So I'm just trying to protect you there and say artillery gunner if you want to. Okay, observer is awesome, but you've got to know what you're getting yourself into. And at the end of the day, you still know nothing about what it is like to be in those roles. So just go in there with an open mind. I reckon an observer would be a great job. But the observer at the lower ranks is you're a communicator. That's basically your role, is to carry the radio while the communication, the fire missions are being conducted by officers and by NCOs. All right, you're carrying the radio. It's like you're carrying the phone for someone else, and he reaches and takes that phone when he wants to make a phone call from you. But we need you. We want you on that wall. I just reckon we could administer you better. Mr. P, anyway, you have been on for an hour. Yep, cheers. Jackpot, what do you think of the jackpot? I wish I won one. What do you think of Ben Robert Smith? Okay, his name is Ben Robert Smith, VC Ben Robert Smith. I believe that he deserves his time in court with a jury of his own peers, not Australians, by other military members that understand what's going on, what the truths are, with no redactions, so they can find out what was happening, what was the mission, what exactly occurred. And then from there, he should be given a voice and a chance to be able to explain what happened. You know, I've never met the man personally. I have no opinion on it whatsoever, other than the fact that I've been part of roles that were fucking 50 times worse than what they're saying he did. Okay. And we're not getting investigated. Okay. Australians stood back and watched a massacre happen. Okay. Thousands of people killed. Nothing. Except, oh, sorry for putting us in that position. Ben Robert Smith, I know nothing about that one. So I'll read what happens, okay? And if that guy gets found guilty, then you're going to push someone forward so many times before they turn into what it takes to win, yeah? M18A1, the Claymore Digger. Hey, Kaz, my son just finished, and he loves his Skippy Badge. Fantastic. It is a great thing. It is extremely hard to earn, but once you've got it, it's yours forever. And beside your family name, it is something to cherish. William Holland. Hey, Kaz, my name is Will. G'day, Bill. I'm wanting to either join Infantry or the French Foreign Legion. Don't join the French Foreign Legion. That'd be a mistake. I want to know if you ever trained or were on a mission together. Australians nearly fought against small groups of French Foreign Legion in Somalia because they were trying to block the way of Australians from the 1st Battalion of the Royal Australian Regiment in a convoy. I've had people that have worked with me that had ran and deserted from the French Foreign Legion who then became my soldiers. And they said, don't fucking do it. There's a reason why they desert. It's not like, talking about desert, I'm getting hungry. It's not like the movies, mate. Yeah. Go to the Australian Army. We're the highest paid, free medical. And okay, we fight for a cause too. Flinny. Hey, Kaz, what's Kapooka like for people planning on enlisting in a trade? And hello, everyone. This is my first stream here. Flinny, in like Flynn, so to speak. Make sure you subscribe, team, if this is your first time here. You're as important as each other and as important as me. It doesn't matter what you go in as, Flinny. If you're going as a trade, you're going for infantry, you're going artillery, or you're going to be in dental, it doesn't matter. You're all there training to be an Australian soldier. It's only once you leave there where the tribalism starts to come in. And that's about survival. That's about staying within your subject matter expert, so to speak. Everyone loves the people of trades, whether you're going in as Ramey or whether you're going in as engineers. These are normally the funny guys on the block. So you've got nothing to worry about there, mate. And I even go a bit easier on people that are going in with trades. Not just because my dad was one, but I figure although your secondary role or your primary role is supposed to be infantry, we all know that that's not really true. And as long as your morale is good, you're not getting yourself in trouble, you're not drink driving, not getting tattoos on your face, I'm happy for you to be there, mate. Patrick John, I get what you're saying. It does give me something to think about. I'm not saying to change what you want, Patty John. I'm just saying that's the deal. Is it an involved role like Armoured Corps or Infantry? Because the website sure makes it sound like a full-on combat role. Well, you're not. It's a hard one. As an observer, your actual your weapon is a radio. Yeah, there's never a time. Well, there should never be a time where your figure touches a trigger. Your role is you have to be able to see where the impact of the ordnance that you're calling in or your team is calling in that's embedded and hangs out the platoon sergeant in the administration area and where the tactical area is inside a platoon setting, company setting, battalion setting, etc. You have to be able to see where the splash of those rounds are, which means you have to be up the front. Right? It can be very technical. Often you are doing complex mathematics, that have a real-time effect in where there's vital ground, where there's rules of engagement. It's not like Dresden. It's not like the bombings of Hiroshima or Nagasaki or England. We can't just blanket bomb things anymore, especially if there's civilians around. So it can be very, very complex. Yeah. I reckon it'd be really interesting. I do. But I just know more about it than I'm talking to you at the moment, if you know what I mean. I wish I could tell you more, but every corps deserves people. It shouldn't be what my personal opinion is based on what I know at first hand at the moment. Tamer, my uncle is a sergeant major. How do you get to that rank? By staying a long time? Okay, by being very technically good, by being an excellent advisor to an officer, to be able to give at all ranks of the senior NCO, whether that be as a section commander, platoon sergeant, whether that be a CSM, company sergeant major, or whether it be a regimental sergeant major as an RSM in a unit. Your job is always to be the supporter of the ship. Your job is to always be the backbone of a commissioned officer. So when you get to that rank, that means you're normally accepted by the officers, and they really cherish the advice that you give them to allow them to have the success to get frame flags while he gets a pewter mug in return. Great job. Tell him I said good day, and I'll lift a glass for him, thinking about Anzac Day and those that serve. Jack Hammer at Singo right now in session. Feel free to ask questions. Jack Hammer, what weekend, mate? There's a great guy for you right now who's in the School of Infantry. Jack, what week you in? At the moment, are they still doing the same thing? You know, with all of this going on, do you turn up, do a fitness test, and they see if you're ready for session from holding platoon, and then create a session from there? Okay, yeah, I understand that. I can't either, Jack. If I mention that, the stream goes down as well. Marching out 2 IETs tomorrow. Reese, that means you're with James. Yeah. Are you going to infantry as well? Okay, Patrick John, anything to help you out, mate? Jack Hammer, Mazza 1, U Session 2 assessment session, PFA 4, Kapooka 5, Singo, yep, 6 battalion, 7 operations or Tully, you know, and then discharge or promotion. Joel Gandy, I love that name. Reese, did you have to quarantine when you got there? You will have to quarantine, I dare say. Thanks, Mr. P. It is true. I will answer. The bat phone, it's important that you get the information, because often I get questions from you guys and gals when it's very, very timely, when you need an answer right now. So it's very important, and I take it very important. Mysterious Box, had a chat with a senior warrant officer in volunteering stint I did earlier this year. Apparently they give new lieutenants loads of shit. That'll mostly happen from the other officer ranks. You know, it is the what do you call it? The Lord of the Flies, so to speak. They're a different breed. Jeremy, sorry, it's moving too quick. Jeremy, hey, Kaz, I was recently gotten a tattoo on my forearm of a flower to resemble a loved one. That will affect my chance of being accepted into infantry. No, because our sleeves are always down. It should be fine, mate. Lightfoot, that sounds like an excellent challenge of mathematical abilities and visual acuity. Snowy, Patrick, John, mate, if you think infantry is something you'd rather do, cop the waiting time and train like buggery. Get your fitness way up there. Snowy, if he wants to go and there's a position to go to, what do you call it? Artillery observer. Let me just say the word on the street is only do it if you can go to Townsville. Okay? Only do it if you can go to Townsville. There's reasons why. Jackhammer. That'll be no dramas with your tattoo. We have blokes with neck and hand tats. You shouldn't be allowed to have hand tats. I've never seen anyone in the military, in the army, with a hand tat before, because they're owned, the face and their hands are owned by the Queen. Normally that's an automatic no-no. Patrick John, Snowby, that's the catch 22. I'm starting to prefer artillery observer. That's fine. If every single person wanted to do exactly the same thing, we'd have a very boring army. Fighting the turret with SWA. Scotty Rogers, send me a message on my channel if you want armored info. Guys, the fighting the turret with SWA, remember, we're like that. We're basically brothers. You know, so, and I, in fact, served with his brother. So make sure that you listen to what he's got to say. KK, not Triple K. Kanga, good to have you here, mate. make sure that you do get in touch with Fighting the Turret Resoir, Scotty, okay, because he was one of the very good guys within his armoured corps as well and was in tanks. So he can answer a lot of questions you need. Team, we're about to get out of here. Jackhammer might be a new thing, Kaz, but there's blokes with them. I think the new regs are that it can't cover more than 75% of their hand. Look, I think it looks awesome. I think tattoos on hands look great. And you know what? The irony behind it is it was always you can't have tattoos on your hand, but we'll tell you to cam up your hand because when you travel through the scrub and you're moving towards an enemy, seeking out and close the enemy to kill or catch him, so to speak, and you're patrolling towards them, your weapon is held across your body. And the only thing that is not camouflage is your face and your hands, so we camouflage our hands. I don't like people wearing gloves, especially in hot climates because it builds up your body core temperature. It's a no-no. You cam up your hand because if you don't, we are trained to aim for the center of the scene mass. And when people have an uncammed hand up, it gives you – have you ever done photography in low light conditions? If you can't autofocus on anything, it makes anything hard. Well, if you give someone a perfect aiming point in the center of their scene mass, knowing that within 100 meters the round will fire 10 centimeters normally higher, okay, with the trajectory when it comes out of the barrel at 100 meters, then bam, it's going to hit them around the sternum above their hand. So cam your hand up because it makes a perfect aiming point. All right. Okay, is it bad that I got turned down my first assessment day and was told to come back in 12 months? Epic beats, not at all. They might have done you the best thing that they could have done. They've clearly thought you were not ready. They didn't say don't come back. And when you go back, you'll be more ready, more suitable, and there's more chance that you will be successful in your path to become an Australian soldier, the best small army in the world. Someone's looking after you. Patrick John, I hate to be that guy, Kaz, but you didn't answer my super chat earlier about deployments. Okay, excellent. That's all right. That's what we have it there, so you can remind me. Going on operations with the Australian Army, one is a very proud moment. It's a very exciting moment, and it's very upsetting for those that don't get picked. You don't get picked as an individual to go on operations. You get picked as a unit. For an example, the first trip to Timor, then it might be, or Somalia. One RR got chosen for that deployment. What they'll say is, this is the stack. We want 1,000 people to go. We want 700 to be infantry. We want medical in there. We want engineers in there. We want MPs in there. We want signals in there, and we want whatever. Okay, they get the team together and they send that battle group over on that deployment. The bigger it is, the more chance you're going. The bigger it is, the more chance there'll be multiple waves and operational tempo, which means if you're not in the first wave, you're in the second wave, and then the first wave might go in the third wave, etc. Okay, and that gets very hard to maintain with injuries, with discharges, with people being wounded, etc. With PTSD, depending on the situation. In asymmetric warfare, it seems to come up more often. Now, when we go overseas, depending on the timeline between fuse being lit and the time to get onto boat, get onto plane, not train anymore. Well, what happens is you will do a mission event list that will get you ready for that, where you will hit scenarios that you're going to be ready for. You will get given local dialects that you might be able to understand what their language is so that you can be respectful to their customs and cultural sensitivities. You will get told a bit about the geography. You will get told your rules of engagement. So almost everything we do is how to be respectful to them. Well, at the same time, we get ready our weapons, all that sort of stuff. Yep, communications, body armor, inoculations, all that sort of shit to set you up for normally at least a 6-month deployment. When you see the Australian badge, on your arm, you know that you're going in the footsteps of the Anzacs to represent the country just like an Olympian would. And as a matter of fact, we come back, we get medals on the left because we've been on that operation. So there is nothing more exciting. I have had tears in my eyes when I found out that I'm going out of excitement, and I've had tears in my eyes when I thought that I'd missed out on the big adventure for Somalia when I got called back up from Newcastle to go back to Townsville to go and deploy with the 1RAR combat group over to Somalia, then got told, no, we've got too many. You're staying behind. You've lost your holidays. Get your uniform ready, and now you're doing guard duties. And I had tears in my eyes for that. So it is sweet and sour. It is the big adventure. That's what you train for. And when you train for year after year after year after year, okay, like an NRL sportsman, with the injuries you keep going, but your body is slowly, although it gets tougher, the niggling injuries become real injuries, and you've got to have a management system to get through those mentally as well. There is so many ups and downs. Going overseas, you don't even think of the danger. You don't, because you've got too many other dilemmas to think about. I don't even think you get time to think of fear. There's apprehension. There's excitement. You're leaning forward into it. You're good enough. You're better than who you're going up against. But you also know that everyone has a puncher's chance of getting you, and they normally strike first. It's excitement knowing that you're about to be tax-free dollars. It's excitement being there with your brothers that are beside you, knowing they're going to be sharing stories with you for the rest of your life. That you're going to be going to another country using another currency, another language, another clothes looking like Return of the Jedi. It's the most amazing experience in the world. And when you've done your tour and you complain and bitch the entire time you're over there, when you're coming home again, that's the next exciting thing. Coming home, to come back to comfort, to being able to put a rifle away and not be scared that you can't find it. I still have nightmares now that I've misplaced my rifle. Still have them now. Yeah? It's the best thing in the world. And you feel like once you've been overseas, I need to go again. I don't want to just do one deployment while I'm in. And then once you go twice, you want to do another deployment. It's addictive. You don't want to miss out. You want the tests. You want to pass them, and you want to do them with your new brothers. And you're normally going, each operation you go on, you're normally a different rank too, so you get a different perspective, a different pencil case full of wisdom that you can blah and vomit out that Louis Vuitton purse on an officer where he thinks, what the fuck is this guy? But anyway, Angus Hooper, hey Kaz, I'm still in high school. Do you have any tips for the young people? I have the biggest as videos come out, you can see them. And mate, as you're going through school, as you're preparing for your time in the boots, so to speak, there they are. Okay, we'll get you ready. Okay, we eat an elephant one bite at a time. All right, let's do that. Guys and gals, Mitch Baker, reserves get COVID deployment a little bit. William Holland, okay, how would you bring up a conversation with someone who served in ADF and has come home presenting symptoms of PTSD? William, well, someone who's got PTSD, I had so much anxiety when I first realised I've got some problems. I didn't say I've got PTSD. The doctors told me you got PTSD. I said, I think I've got a moral injury, after listening to Joe Rogan. And they said, no, you have PTSD and moral injuries and blah, blah, blah. I don't let it define me. And if you say to someone, hey, mate, can we have a conversation when it's just you and them? And you can basically just say, hey, look, I've got some worries about you. It's now a good time to talk. Because they're out of curiosity going to be, what are you talking about? Go, give me until I've finished this cup of coffee that I'm about to buy you one of to tell you what my problem is. And you could say to them, I see that you're tired. I see that you're always anxious. I feel like you're combative, that you're not agreeable if these things are on the checklist. I think that your substance abuse, whether that be alcohol, food, lack of exercise, self-care, the way you treat others, I think you're in a self-destructive mood. Have you thought about talking to someone? Because I'd hate to see you end up that person that feels like you have no one because you're silently pushing everyone away. What do you think? Have you noticed that about yourself? No one's going to get insulted when you're going in there with concern, your hand on your heart, buying them a coffee, having good timing, because it's all about timing, and just being respectful in the way you question. This might be the first time, or they might be, how did it not take so long for you to notice? That might be all it takes for those people to start to look at how badly this is going to affect my career. Will I have a career after I come forward? I didn't notice that about myself. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did, bro. I'm dealing with that at the moment. Medication, not medication. Yeah, it's a tough one. Guys, we're going to get out of here now. It is Mother's Day. I want you to go and have your dinner with your mums. I'm going to go and walk down and have a cup of coffee. And I really appreciated you being here today in the Mother's Day. I believe that you should subscribe to this channel. I think it'd be silly not to. This is an Australian channel. We get back to you. We answer your questions. We're always upping the game to give you a better version of either stream or production. We do things for others, and we need you on the wall, just like you needed us on wall at different times as you were growing up. If you're going to follow the footsteps of the Anzacs, it's a team effort. Get in the team, subscribe, change your name. That's a big bit of advice. If you're on their right name right now and your name is Ben Redsell, I'm not sure what he's talking about. It's not true. I'm not sure what he's talking about. Then I would say change your name. Your online persona should always be an alias. Therefore, you can never get something that affects your entry to the military, where there's something that people can grip onto who you are. I'm a public figure. It's fine. But you're in the military. You don't want to get yourself in the shit due to dramas with that. When are you going to be streaming next? When do you want me to stream again? Wednesday? Wednesday. How about that? Wednesday. I'll see you Wednesday. Wednesday, 7:30 Australian Eastern Time. We're good with that. 7:30. Yeah. It's a big day for James. He's about to get in a bus tomorrow morning, and he starts his pilgrimage to the Skippy Badge. For some people, it seems like a breeze. To some people, it seems like they might as well be going up Kilimanjaro on their hands. Right? All the best to you, mate. You've done the hard work, and now it's going to pay off. Do it as a team. Ben, sorry, I was talking to waves. That's no problems. Wednesday sounds good. All the best. See you there. Tick the like if you can. Let YouTube know we're big. And thank you for assisting me getting this black beauty. And we'll be here on Wednesday, 7:30. Let's see you first. See you later. Between now and then, I'll have a video coming out as well. Take it easy. Start thinking about the interesting question you'd like to see me make a whole video about for you. Catch us later, team. And if your mother wants to be a mum again and you'd rather call me dad, see you soon. That's Kaz in the trenches with Kaz and you on Mother's Day. If I was you there, James, I'd let me know soon how it goes. I'm looking forward to the stories. No tears. Take it easy, guys and gals. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you and mucho respecto. Just my name, Joel Gandy. It's a great name. See you later. Thank you for your donations of time, finances, shekels, etc. Take it easy. Cass. Subscribe.